You are looking live at Coach Eric Williams. This is your host, Jeff Breedlove, bringing you the Coach Eric Williams Jaguar Nation show. We are recapping a very historic season here for your Maynard Jackson Jaguars. They went 8-2 on the regular season, hosted their first home playoff game, and made it into the second round. Coach, this was a very special year.
Yes, it was. It was a very special year. Like you said, we made it to the Sweet 16 of the Georgia High School football playoff for the first time in school history. The kids learned a lot, we grew a lot, and we had just a very outstanding year.
What's that piece of hardware behind you, Coach?
Well, this trophy behind me is the first run-up trophy, finishing the run-up to Carver in the region. And, you know, it's just something for us to cherish and build upon moving forward.
Now, looking back at this season, Coach, we opened up with a very cool game, and we thank the host of that game. We were invited to participate in the 99 Ways to Win Classic, and we were fortunate to be the victors of that game.
Yes, sir. We were the first teams chosen to be a part of the 99 Ways Annual Football Classic, and in the inaugural year, we were victorious, and it's going to be something that we're going to do. I'll continue to do in the near future.
And the hardware for that is already up in the main trophy case, and we'd have it here tonight, but it's been on display here at Maynard Jackson, and we're so honored to be a part of that program, I know.
Yes, sir.
So, we dove right into the season after that, made a second trip down to East Coweta. We came up short 42-27, but the score didn't really reflect how well we played against that team this year.
Yes, and it was a big building block for us because last year, the year before, they handled us pretty well. We came out and fought valiantly this year and let them know that we were a team on the rise.
We came back after that and were fortunate to win over North Clayton. Then played a game that mattered to a lot of people. Here we played Carver, and we fell short to Carver 28-10 this year.
Yes, that was the Hurricane Irma week. We had a short week of practice. We only practiced one day and ended up having to play that game that Saturday afternoon. And, not having to practice, our timing was off, and we ended up letting that game slip through the cracks on us. So it was a big stepping block for us as far as bonding, because as we all know, that was our last time losing the game for the rest of the remainder of the regular season.
Well, that's exactly right. At that point in the season, Coach, we were 500, we were 2-2. And then next came what I think is one of the two key games of the year. We played Banneker. We were, again, victorious in that game 27-10. And I think that game was the pivotal game when the gut check happened. The Hurricanes kind of started for Jaguar Nation. And winning that game, I think, set the tone for the rest of the season.
And yes, it did. The year before, we were kind of embarrassed when we went out to Banneker, and we had some get back. And and I was talking about it, and I was saying and I kind of used the unfortunate circumstances from the hurricanes that happened throughout or across the United States as a kind of a tool for us to, gravitate around and get our hands around and start using it as a motivational tool. And so what we did, we started calling ourselves a hurricane. At that point in time, like you said, our record was 2-2. We were at tropical storm status. And I said by the end of the season, we would want to be at hurricane status. And the kids kind of bought into that, and we used that as a big big rallying point for us to continue the rest of the season.
And then, interestingly enough, the next game was a road game way up in North Metro Atlanta at North Springs, and we won that game 32-29, and again, I would say it was another key game because that's a game where we had a lead, but the opposition came storming back, and we had to hold that lead. And again, there was a lot of coaching on the sideline, asking these boys to dig deep and figure out what they were all about.
Yes, sir. And the game was played exactly how the game played the year before, but in the opposite fashion. The year before, North Springs jumped out on us on our homecoming, and we had to rally back, and we rallied back to take the lead for them to only score in the closing minutes of the game to beat us. This year, we jumped out on them on their homecoming, and they had a big lead, and then they tried to come back at the end, but we were fortunate enough to hang on to that victory.
Well, then the next game was another road game way out on the west side of Atlanta. played a tough Lithia Springs team. Interesting night. I think it was their homecoming, and we did something special. We came away with a 14-0 shutout.
Oh yes, that was our first shutout of the season. We played well. Our guys, we were kind of banged up after the North Springs game, so our guys knew that going into it and playing another team on their homecoming, it was going to be a tough battle. And Lithia Springs put forth a great effort, but we were victorious that night as well.
The very next week was a game I know will be long remembered in Jaguar Nation. It was our homecoming. It was very special. We played the first ever high school football game in the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium against crosstown rival Grady, and came away with an impressive 45-7 victory.
Yes, and I think, we all had that game marked on our calendars from last year when they kind of, we played them tough. They were the region champs last year. No one could really score that much on them, and we went out at halftime and the score was 30-30. They ended up beating us 57-30, but we knew then that we were on the rise, and we sent a message to them that we wanted to make sure that we sent that message home this year.
Well, that was no disrespect to Grady, but we really shined that day in the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yes, it was a great experience for our kids.
We rounded out this regular season with two games, one on the road at Decatur, historic Decatur Bulldog Stadium. We came away with a hard-fought 28-6 win on a cold night in Decatur.
Yes, sir. And at that point in time, we kind of started trying to figure out where we would fall as far as the playoffs, and we wanted to keep everything moving in the right direction. Our kids did a great job of going out and finishing strong.
And then we ended up the regular season against our friends from Riverwood. Again, a shutout for us, 21-0. A positive way to round out the regular season.
It was a positive way to round out the regular season, and it was on a short week. We played at Decatur on a Friday night and had to turn around and play that last game on a Thursday night. So, yes, it was a great accomplishment.
Then, of course, a moment in history at Jaguar Nation, the first ever home playoff game. We played a DeKalb County team, a strong Miller Grove Wolverines. Jaguars come away with a shutout, 14-0, but that was a hard-fought football game.
Oh, yes, it was a hard-fought football game. Miller Grove was hungry for their first playoff win. Jaguar Nation and Manny Jackson Jaguars, we were hungry for our first playoff win, and that crowd really got behind us that night to help us and carry us on to victory.
It was a good crowd, and I'll tell you, the band was loud and the people were loud, and they had just finished filming a movie right there on site. It was a busy night, a great night for Jaguar Nation. Of course, the next week we made a road trip. We went up to Buford. A lot of respect for our friends in Buford, and they came away with the win. Our season came to an end, but we went deeper than we've ever gone. We enjoyed the trip to Buford, and we played a hard-fought game.
Yes, and everything is a learning experience, and that's what I try to tell our kids during that game, or at the conclusion of that game. Buford has set the standard in APS, not only APS, but in the state of Georgia for a long time. They have over 11 national football championships in the state of Georgia and a couple of national championships. But to get our program on that level, we have a lot of work that we want to do, and that's the model that we want to use for us to get to that level.
So, Coach, we're looking ahead now to next season. And I think you have a pretty special announcement we want to share with Jaguar Nation here about our opening regular season game next year. Tell us what we're doing.
Well, first, Jeff, I always try to expose our kids and get them out of their element and expose them to things that they can remember for a lifetime. Playing in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium was a memorable moment that our kids will always cherish and carry with them for a lifetime. Next year, we will be going down to Wintersville, Valdosta, Georgia, and play the storied Valdosta Wildcats for a 2-year contract. We'll be going down there the next 2 years to play them and go out and get the experience of what it feels like to play football in Friday Night Lights true fashion.
Well, let me tell you, I have been to Valdosta High School. I have been inside the building and seen the trophy case, and I should say trophy cases, and they got a lot of them. They call it Titletown for a reason. They got some good barbecue down there. I have eaten barbecue all over Valdosta.
Mm-hmm.
And we need Jaguar Nation to get on that spirit bus when we go down there to open the season. we're going to come away with a win. We're going to start the season off on the right track, and we're going to have a whole bunch of black and gray and maroon and gold down there in Valdosta. So make your plans now for the first game of the season down in Valdosta in Titletown, USA. And we're going to have Jaguar Nation join us on that trip, right, Coach?
Yes, sir. You're absolutely correct with that.
Well, listen, we are thankful to Coach Eric Williams. This is part one of what's going to be a 2-episode season recap. So we're going to sign off here on part one with this great in-depth look at this historic Jaguar Nation season where we went 8-2 in the regular season, made it to the Sweet 16, won the 99 Ways to Win Classic, and came first runner-up here in our Region 6 for 5A. Great things on the horizon next season. Coach, let's just end this taping by thanking you for your time. Not just the time for these shows, but for the time that the parents and stakeholders and fans don't see as you spend with these players. You're more than just a coach, you're a leader and a mentor. And from everybody in Jaguar Nation, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Jaguar Nation.